Hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm back in the kitchen with Pampered Chef. I'm going to show you some creative ways to put your own spin on making a cake. When baking, a lot of people feel tied to the recipe. While baking is about precision, there are a few simple ways you can switch up ingredients or add in your own and create a whole new flavor profile. So first things first, there is no shame in using a cake mix. They are inexpensive, easily accessible, and best of all, a blank canvas. Just because you buy a yellow box cake mix doesn't mean you have to make a yellow cake, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I have a yellow cake mix, but I'm actually gonna make an apple cinnamon cake. All right, so let's do this. So I'm gonna just add in my cake mix, and then I'm gonna add my eggs and oil, just like I normally would. Now, instead of water, I'm gonna add in apple juice. The water is the easiest ingredient to switch up. You just need to add 1 cup of liquid, any liquid. So you can use fruit juice, milk, I've even used champagne before. It's just a really easy way to give it a new flavor. Finally, I'm gonna add in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this together until all of my ingredients are well incorporated. So I'm using Korinji cinnamon. The spice is just a really great way to give it a rich flavor, even when using a box mix. So you can already tell while I'm mixing that this does not look like your typical yellow cake. It's a totally different cake now. Okay, perfect. See how easy that was? Now all we have to do is fill up our pans and bake it like you normally would. So instead of using a typical sheet pan, I'm actually going to use these 4-layer cake pans. And this way it will give me a lot to work with as far as cake decorating. So what's great about these pans is there's actually a fill line inside the cake pan. So I'm not measuring it out, I have even layers, it just makes it super easy for me. So a rubber spatula will be your best friend in the kitchen. Not only am I using it to make sure I get every last bit of cake batter, you can also use it to prevent spilling batter between pans. So while our cakes are in the oven, let's make our icing. We are gonna make a classic buttercream, which is not only delicious, but perfect for cake decorating. So I have all my ingredients ready. Higher quality ingredients will give you better flavor. So let's use butter as an example. Higher quality butter usually means a higher fat percentage. So I would just recommend to you to think about what you're baking. If you're baking something where butter is a main ingredient, maybe like puff pastry or the delicious buttercream, then maybe reach for the higher end stuff. So I'm gonna add 2 cups of unsalted butter. Why unsalted, right? It's basically so we can control how much salt goes into our recipe. As a general rule of thumb when you're baking, always use unsalted butter unless your recipe tells you otherwise. All right, now I'm going to use 1 cup of shortening. The reason why we use shortening and butter is so that we get that delicious flavor from the butter, but shortening actually has a higher melting point than butter, so it stands up better when decorating cakes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cream this together until it's nice and incorporated. Okay, beautiful. So I'm gonna add in 1/3 cup of water. And speaking of high quality ingredients, I'm going to be adding in double strength Madagascar pure vanilla extract, which is going to give it the best flavor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up. So next, I'm gonna add in my sugar. So this specific recipe calls for 6 cups of powdered sugar, but I'm only gonna add in 2 cups at a time, and that's basically so that my sugar just doesn't go everywhere when I start mixing. Now I already measured out my powdered sugar, so I don't have to be too exact with my 2 cups. It's, again, just so the sugar doesn't go everywhere. When you add in the sugar, you want to start mixing at a low speed until that sugar gets incorporated, and then you can go to a higher speed to really smooth it out. So now that I'm getting to the end of adding my sugar, I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Remember what I told you about this being your best friend? All right. Okay, I'll add in the last of my sugar and then we should be good to go. Okay, and we are good to go. See how easy that was? So the next time you're in the store tempted to reach for that can of icing, remember it's just a few simple ingredients to make your own. So now we're ready to decorate our cakes. I'm not going to decorate this the traditional way. I'm going to do a naked cake, which is basically just a cake that you don't fully cover in icing. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I really want people to see these layers because the cinnamon gave it such a rich color. So I have my Lazy Susan, a decorating bag that I prepared with a round tip and our buttercream icing, and I will start by just putting a little bit of icing in the middle, and that's just to hold the cake in place. So I will add my cake, and you want to make sure you put the flat side down. It's also very important to make sure that your cakes have cooled completely before you start decorating. So I'll just put that cake here. Okay, now I'm going to go around and fill it with dots, and my Lazy Susan is really going to help make that super easy for me. Do you see how easy this is? You really don't have to be a pro to do this design. All right, I'm gonna add some icing to the middle because, you know, it's delicious. Okay, and I'm ready for my next layer. Okay, I want to just pat it down just a little bit so that it sticks to the layer below, but not so much that I'm squishing out all the icing. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the next few layers until I get to the top. So this is how I'm decorating my cake, but again, get creative. You don't have to do it the exact same way. You can switch things up, add color to your icing, whatever you want. Okay, so now I'm on my last layer. You want to make sure you put this side down so you have that nice flat top and the nice even color. All right, so I'm just going to put that there. And this time when I do my dots, I'm going to continue applying pressure as I pull up so I get a nice little peak on them. Beautiful, but I'm not done quite yet. I'm gonna add a little bit of sprinkle of cinnamon for color, and again, because it's delicious. So I showed you 3 ways to take a box cake mix and really amp it up by swapping ingredients, using quality ingredients, and a non-traditional way of decorating. The next time you make a cake, I hope you feel empowered to try these, knowing that it won't sacrifice the end result and will really elevate it and impress those you're making the cake for, even if it's just you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.